Willpower feels like the most logical way to change behavior. If something matters, it makes sense to apply effort, to decide firmly, to push through resistance. From the outside, this looks responsible. From the inside, it feels like control. And for short periods of time, it works. That early success is important. It's the reason willpower becomes the default strategy, even when it repeatedly fails later. Effort gives immediate feedback. When you apply willpower, you feel involved, you feel active, you feel like you are directly responsible for the outcome. That sense of involvement creates confidence. It also creates the impression that behavior changes because of conscious force. In the beginning, this impression is reinforced. The behavior improves. Consistency appears possible. But this phase is temporary. What feels like control is often just novelty combined with attention. Most people operate with an incomplete model of behavior. They assume behavior is primarily a conscious decision. If the decision is strong enough, the behavior will follow. If the behavior fails, the decision must not have been strong enough. This assumption feels rational. It also feels fair. But it overlooks how much behavior is already automated. In reality, very little behavior is chosen moment by moment. Most of it is executed by patterns that run automatically. The brain is not designed to rely on constant conscious control. Its priority is efficiency. Repeated actions are pushed into automatic processes to reduce cognitive load. This is why habits form. Not to trap behavior, but to stabilize it. Once a pattern is automated, it requires very little attention to maintain. This allows the brain to conserve energy for situations that truly require thought. When behavior remains dependent on willpower, it never becomes efficient. Each repetition costs attention. Each decision consumes energy. Over time, that cost accumulates. Willpower demands sustained focus. Each time it is used, the brain must notice the situation, override an existing tendency, maintain effort until the action is complete. Occasional use is manageable, daily reliance is not. As the cost increases, the brain begins to associate the behavior with effort and friction. When that association forms, resistance is triggered automatically. This resistance is not conscious. It appears as procrastination, avoidance, mental fatigue. The behavior starts to feel heavier, even when the goal remains important. Resistance is often treated as a personal flaw, a sign of laziness, or lack of discipline. But resistance is not a moral signal. It is a feedback signal. It tells the system that the current method is inefficient. When effort remains the only tool, resistance is not a surprise. It is the expected response. This misunderstanding creates a cycle. A person starts strong. They rely on effort. Progress slows, resistance grows. Instead of questioning the method, they question themselves. They respond by applying more willpower. This increases friction further. Eventually, the behavior collapses. After a pause, the cycle restarts, usually with renewed determination. The strategy remains the same. Only the intensity changes. When people repeatedly fail using willpower, they often internalize the outcome. They assume something is wrong with them. They lack consistency. They are not disciplined enough. But nothing about this pattern points to a character problem. It points to a mismatch. Conscious effort is being used to control automatic behavior. That mismatch guarantees friction. Willpower has a role. It is useful for initiating change, interrupting a pattern briefly, making occasional deliberate choices. It is not designed to regulate daily behavior indefinitely. When it is asked to do so, it depletes itself. This does not mean the goal is wrong. It means the method is unstable. Lasting change does not come from trying harder. It comes from understanding how behavior stabilizes. Without that understanding, effort will always collapse back into resistance. In the next discussion, we'll look at what actually allows behavior to continue without constant effort. If these explanations are useful, You can explore more on this channel.